Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jam Center Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss the conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there as a community. We can talk about all the things that we love. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. As always, in addition to Harrison Ford, you have one returning cast member from Raiders of the Lost Ark. That is Karen Allen. This movie is also starring Cate Blanchett, Shia LaBeouf, Ray Winstone, John Hurt, Jim Broadbent, Igor Zizinkin, sorry if I mispronounced that, Alan Dale, Joel Stoffer, and Neil Flynn. I don't know why, but I keep on forgetting to mention this one thing about Indiana Jones. It's a cereal. No, not the kind you eat. I'm not really familiar with them. I believe they came out in the 50s or so. Best example I can remember is Buck Rogers. Not to say that Indiana Jones is based off Buck Rogers, obviously, because Buck Rogers, from what I can remember, is a sci-fi, but George Lucas grew up watching such serials. That's why he made Star Wars the way it is and Indiana Jones the way it is. Because serials could have a continuous storyline like Star Wars, or they can be episodic like Indiana Jones. I just wish I would have mentioned this in Raiders of the Lost Ark, but hey, it's never too late until I guess you're done reviewing the Indiana Jones movies. Another thing I don't know is why in the world was this movie panned as badly as it was? And watching it, I started to remember how I felt when I saw it in theaters and the couple of times I saw it after that. I do enjoy this film. I don't know why people have a dislike for it. I do remember my brother not liking it. I think because of what the big reveal is at the end, and I won't give that away. It's not to say this movie doesn't have its problems. For instance, the opening. I don't know why the movie starts out with teenagers trying to race an army convoy, specifically the lead car. It adds nothing to the story because it's later revealed, once they get to the base that they're driving to, that this particular convoy is actually communists undercover as American soldiers. And they are searching for a certain Jamson. I mean, that's the basis of all the Indiana Jones movies. Wouldn't be Indiana Jones if there wasn't a Jamson to go after. This is the same facility that the Ark of the Covenant was taken to at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. In fact, they actually show a bit of the Ark after this particular sequence of events. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, though. With the reveal that it's Russians undercover, you also find out that Indiana Jones is their captor, along with his colleague Mac. Mac is not in the previous films. He's a new colleague. They make up a backstory that him and Indy have, which arguably could have been a whole nother movie, which would have been interesting, because it's 19 years since Last Crusade. Of course, it's 15 years between this movie and Dial of Destiny. The Jamson the Russians are after, and they are coercing Indy to help them find, is an alien corpse. And the way he knows to find it, because they mentioned that he found it 10 years ago, and this is set in 1957. That's why they're Soviets and not Nazis. He remembers it being magnetic, and he asks for bullets. What the Soviets end up doing is unscrewing the top of grenades. I don't know if they work that way, but they get the gunpowder from the grenades and he throws it in the air and it starts flying towards the magnetic source. As I'm going through the plot, I'm starting to remember some of the reasons why people panned this movie for it being outlandish. The people who say this is outlandish forget that the entire series is outlandish. Sure, some of the Jamsons in the series are based on real-life artifacts from history, but it's still outlandish. The Ark of the Covenant is, for all intents and purposes, eternally lost, and we don't know what would happen if it was actually found and opened. And the Cup of Jesus Christ is also eternally lost, and we don't know what would happen if anyone drank water from it. I'm not sure about the stones from Temple of Doom. I'm not familiar with Indian lore, but all three movies leading up to this one are all very outlandish, and you have to suspend your disbelief. And I'm perfectly fine doing that for all the movies. And rewatching this, it's my third favorite film. Favorite being Last Crusade, then Raiders of the Lost Ark, then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and I would say Dial of Destiny is a little better than Temple of Doom. To improve upon the movie, the way Shia LaBeouf's character, Mud, is introduced, Indiana Jones is leaving on a train to somewhere. And Mud is just looking for him on his motorcycle, driving along the platform. Indy points out to him, like, "You're running out of platform, kid." And he tells Indy that he has information about his friend Oxley and that he's gone missing. It just cuts to Indy being off the train. They don't show... Just the way they introduced Mud could have been a whole lot... Could have been handled better. Because from there, they catch up, they go over their respective notes. Mud has a letter from Oxley with a cipher that needs to be cracked, and Indy can read the cipher, and they get tangled up in the Russians again because the Russians are still looking for Indy because they still need his help. Another negative, we go from having really bad blue screen in Temple of Doom to really bad green screen in this one. Wow, the green screen is horrific. Now, that's definitely something to pan this movie about, because this movie does use practical effects, and when it does, it's done really, really well. And it does use real spaces. I won't say locations because I don't think they actually went to South America to shoot on location for a lot of these scenes. But the sets they build for locations are very well done. It's when they get into the jungle chase scene, oh, it's bad green screen. But the action is fun, and the adventure is fun. I'll say it again, I don't know why this movie is panned so bad as it is. I think maybe somewhere I heard that people were upset that it's communists instead of Nazis. Why would it matter who the villain is? I think it would have played out the same way. Because I remember enjoying it when I first saw it in theaters. I think the subsequent viewings, knowing that other people dislike this movie, has tainted those viewings. But on this viewing, because I couldn't remember, I was like, okay, let me really watch this and take a look at it and see what's wrong with it. I pointed out the things that were wrong with it. Outside of those, I can't think of anything. This movie is really good. It's not the best, but it's really good. Those are my thoughts on Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.